Hi, it's Cheryl from Home of My Making. Hi, it's Cheryl from Home of My Making. I wanted to come on this afternoon to show you something that I've been working on. Whoops. It's these little bunnies. They look like they're galvanized and you'll never believe what these are made from. You can purchase these cookie tins at the dollar store. There's 2 of them in here. So I created this technique to make something this shiny look like it is galvanized steel. So stick with me and I'll show you how to do just that. So I researched galvanized steel, and I guess what happens is when they have steel and they don't want it to rust, they dip it in a zinc bath wash, and that's when it would get all like it looks distressed and dull, but that's so that it doesn't rust. So I created this technique to make something that is shiny look like it is galvanized. And what I did is I purchased those cookie sheets, and then I'll show you what I did. So my first step in making it look galvanized is I take some paint, a gray paint. You're going to need 2 different color grays. One's going to be light and one's going to be darker. So I do use a Maker Studio brand products, and this is the darker version called Southern Gentleman, and then the lighter version is called Sunday Nap. They do come in 2 different sizes. One's 2 ounces and one's 16 ounces. So those are the 2 paints that I use. Going forward, you just need 2 different shades of gray. And then I use some gel stain, and this one is English Walnut. So what I do, the first step I do, if you're hopping on, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this in replay, please put #replay. So what I do first is, just for time's sake I did it, I take the lighter color and I go over the whole sheet pan. Doesn't have to be perfect because this is going to be looking distressed. So the second thing I do is, and you can reverse this process, and what I mean by that is you can put the light on the bottom and the dark on the top. It depends on how dark you want your look to be. This is the darker look. So if you didn't want the metal to look this dark, then reverse it and put the dark on the bottom and the light on the top. So I did go ahead and put the lighter color on the bottom, and then I go ahead and take the darker color and I just put it in this little dish so it's easier for me to apply. Then I take some makeup pads, and the reason why I do that is I kind of like that square, and you could recreate it with anything, maybe just even a household sponge. So what I do is I dip it into the dark color gray and offload it a little bit, and then you're going to just make a pattern on here all different ways with this sponge. I don't want you to cover all of the lighter color because that would defeat the purpose of it, making it look like a variegated look. So just keep doing it all different ways. I do tend to turn it around because if not, I will tend to make them all in the same direction. So what I do that on the whole entire piece that I had pre-painted with the lighter color. Again, you could switch the color combination to using the light one on the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to totally go over the top with this method. If you're hopping on, say hello. If you're just watching, give me some hearts or even a thumbs up. That's how we keep these pages going. Okay, so that is almost done. Again, do not cover the whole thing. So some of the, if you could see that, some of the light shows through. So So remember I said that when they really do the steel and they want to make it so it doesn't rust, they put an acid wash on it. But sometimes if you've ever seen steel, it still has some rust spots on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some rust spots on this, and that's where my gel stain comes into play. So what I'm going to do is just dip it in there a little bit, and I'm going to put little spots just randomly, because when I cut these out into different shapes, each one of them will have a totally different pattern because of the different segments of this cookie sheet. So I just like to make it look like a little bit of rust on there, like if that zinc coating that they put on the steel doesn't work. It's probably very loud when I'm doing this on camera. And that's it. So if you look, it's going to look like it's galvanized versus the shiny look. I prefer it to look like this, and I have a bunch of upcoming projects that I'm going to do with this. So I've done a couple of them, because what I do is I'll take like a cutout that I've made and cut it out. That's how I achieved these looks. But you could do any shape you want, but right now with Easter I've been cutting out bunny shapes. So you would let that dry, and then you would take your cutout or shape or whatever you wanted to make with it and cut it out. And I wanted to show something else. I was wondering if I could use this technique on glass or anything else, but when you use chalk paint, what happens is it sticks to anything. Just like in a previous video when I did some wood slats and I did it on a wee yogurt jar, it stayed on it because your base is chalk-based paint. And of course, my favorite chalk-based paint is the Maker Studio brand, but you have to use chalk-based paint. I don't know if acrylic would work on this. Because chalk-based paint sticks to anything, when I cut this out, it still stays there. It doesn't crack off. So if you are going to replicate this, I would definitely use chalk-based paint. So what I did is I wanted to actually see if it would work on any surface. So I took a terracotta pot and I made it look the same way. So that is just the dollar store terracotta pot. You can see by the inside, and by the outside, it looks like it's galvanized steel. So that's my new adventure. And I will come back in the next few days and show you what I am actually doing with all of the cutouts and everything. But I got a few of these going, so I have to wait in different stages for them to dry. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you know anybody that would be interested in seeing this process, please spread that on their page. And I'll be back in the next couple of days and show you some projects that I incorporated this technique into. Thank you.